Today we're looking at the Forces of Valor, British HMS Invincible light aircraft carrier from the Falklands War of 1982. This is the full hull edition, and as you can see here, it is a limited edition model. As you can see, this here is a covering of the box, which has an image of the model. On the top we have some photos of the HMS Invincible from its time in service, as well as a blurb telling you the history of the HMS Invincible itself. And if we can turn the box around, it has some of the features of this model, such as its die-cast metal lower hull, its intricate surface details, and Forces of Valor signature weathering effects. Highly detailed carrier aircraft. As this is an aircraft carrier, it does come with models you can place on top, a wooden display stand with chrome-plated metal pillars, movable parts, and jet elevator descending display mode. Now let's take off this cover and we can have a look at the model in its box. So here it is in its box. You can see the model very nicely detailed on its display plinth, and actually it's got a box which has the scale of it, the 1 to 700 Invincible class aircraft carrier series. Again, here's a full hull edition, ABS die-cast metal. As you can see, the model there, and on the back it has the same information as the cover, telling you the features of inside. There's an extra one saying highly accurate detail with painstaking research. So overall, very nice. And now let's open up the box and have a look at the model itself and the things it comes with. Let's have a look at the contents of the box itself. As you can see, there is the model on its display plinth. It is normally held down, but I have already removed these little twist off things at the bottom, so we can pick up the model and have a look. And then here we have the planes and helicopter models inside. Here we have the other accessories for the model itself, which we'll be adding on in a sec. And then here we have a bag of stuff to come with it. This is mostly information and things like that. So here we have the instructions for adding on all the extra details of this particular model, which we'll be doing in a sec once we've looked at the rest of this bag. We'll come back to that in a sec. Let's see, we have a little screwdriver with a couple of stoppers, a little bag full of extra parts and accessories and a couple of screws, and a car with HMS Invincible on it, as well as tons of specification information, such as like the aircraft it carried, such as the Sea Harrier and Sea Kings, which are your planes here, and helicopters here. As well as other information, such as its length, beam, power, propulsion, class and type, and things of that nature you may like to know. Then in here, in this very nice envelope, you open it up, and you have a thing here saying this is a certificate telling you this is a limited edition, when it was created, and the production number of this particular model. Let's place this back in the bag, and let's have a look at the model itself. And then as we add on details, so as you see, I've taken it off its display plinth, and we can look at it in its details now. The hull, very nicely detailed, very nice landing strip and runway. As you can see, very briefly here, very lightly, it says Invincible. Of course, this is the HMS Invincible. Very nice size. Now let's place it down, and I will go through building this model step by step. Now, first off, let's have a look at the instructions. And the first thing we will be doing is, first step is to take it off the stand, which I've done. And we'll now be replacing it with the metal stand, which is found here. So now I will now cut to the stand being placed. And there you go, that is the first step, to just screw on these two golden things with a couple of screws in the bottom. And then from the model has stoppers here, here, and here, which you just place on to keep the hole all along. Now let's move on to the next step of putting together this carrier, and that is to go back to the bottom, and we'll be adding on rudders and propellers for this particular model, which you can see are here. and here, as well as these two pieces. Two of these pieces here. Now I will now cut to the propellers and pieces being attached. So as you can see, we've now gently placed in the propellers and the rotors here. Now I've only just placed them in neatly. You can add a little bit of glue or blue tack, as it says in the instructions, to keep them in more securely. But for this demonstration, I have not. So as you can see, very nice, very detailed for the thing there. And now we'll be moving on to the upper deck of this aircraft carrier, adding things such as towers, radars, and a little turret thing towards the front here. Now let's place this model down and have a look. Let's put it down. Careful not to knock out the pieces you've just placed in. And we'll just see. We'll be adding in a tower here, these pieces here. Now I will now cut to when we've added these extra pieces in. So now you can see we've added in all those extra parts. We added this little guy here, this tower here, this thing here, got a little radar dish, a little arm that can swivel forward here. And right at the front, this little guy here. All of these are very, very nicely detailed and add tons of detail to make the ship as accurate as physically possible. Now again, you are recommended to put glue or a little bit of blue tack to hold these things into place, which I've mentioned before we are not doing on this particular demonstration, so things should be sturdier for you. Turn around and you can see they're just very, very nicely detailed, making it very detailed all across this very nice model. Now moving on, we'll be looking at the jet elevators, which are these little spots here and here for Sea Harriers to be in. Now these elevators come with this part here and this here, and a little magnetic tool so they are magnetic, you can hold them up and then place them into the spots where you need them, like so. So then you can have a perfect runway across the thing, and it's the same for the other one. Just line it up, place it in, push it off, and you can have perfect runway across your aircraft carrier. And now we have two last little things. Just take the tower off for now. We'll be placing it back on for the end. We have these little lifeboats here, which just attach onto these little gaps here. Just slot them in. So lifeboat one and a second lifeboat into this one here. Make sure it should just nicely fit on, hopefully without falling. There we have both of the, and there you have the lifeboats nicely attached, and that is this model pretty much fully built, apart from putting it on a display stand, which we will do now, and then re-add the tower. And there you have it. Just places it, just literally just you lift it just onto the display stand, and there you have it in its wonderful detail. Now let's have a look at the models that come with it, such as the Seahawks, the Sea Kings, and the Sea Harrier. So here we go. Got a couple of Sea Kings, you can see. Get it very nicely detailed, and you can just place these however you'd like onto your aircraft carrier. You also have a Chinook here, see. Very nice, you can place that on. Now for the Sea Kings, you can see they have both a closed version as well as a version with the propellers open, so you can have them however like so, as well as a bunch of Sea Harriers that we can place all along. And as of course with these sections here, you can lift these up to have the Sea Harrier inside if you wanted to. Of course, you can place the Sea Harrier inside, which I will not do, but you can do that for yourself. And of course, it's to the left. The Sea Harriers all along. There is space for tons of these aircraft on your model. So as you can see, it's a very, very nice detailed model. Let's have a quick look at the history of this model. The HMS Invincible fought during the Falklands War in 1982 and was a lead ship of her class of 3 light aircraft carriers, following the HMS Illustrious and HMS Ark Royal, and this ship was first launched in the 3rd of May 1977, and this is from the Falkland campaign in 1982. Cool. It's a very nice detailed model. Tons of detail, tons of little pieces you can add to it. Some very nice accessories such as the Seahawks, the Sea Kings and Sea Harriers. It was very nice to build, very nice display stand, and a very nice certificate to go along with it. And it's available now from modelcorner.co.uk.